Let's see. Hey, I'll welcome into another edition of S2S, Colorado Buffaloes Live. I'm your host, as always, Manny. Again, make sure that you follow me on X at Manny_303 and IG at 303_Manny. Buff line is always open as well, 970-614-5771. Also, you can catch us on any major podcast streaming platform that it is that you use. I got a really good show for you guys today. Ralphie report, big news out of that, and I guess it's kind of about Ralphie as well. If you have not heard, recruiting, some big news coming out as well. A couple sounds like that we have a commit coming in here shortly to Colorado, and keys to the game. So a lot going on this week. Hopefully on Wednesday you were able to catch my conversation with Cody Tucker from 7220sports.com. Just fantastic. We went over everything, game preview of Colorado versus Wyoming. So check that out as well. Real awesome guy, and make sure you visit his website. Just fantastic guest to have on the show. Also, appreciate any support, any donations. Again, it is not you don't have to, but it would be Venmo at Manny S2S. So anything you can do to help support the show would be much appreciated. So let's dive into this. Oh yeah, thank you, Chad. Yeah, Wednesday was a great show. I really enjoy all of our guests have been fantastic. It is, again, one of the best parts of this job that I get to do is talk to different people who cover different programs. So yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast. Really enjoyed Cody a ton. So, and again, you see him at the game this week, and make sure you say what's up and hey, nicely. So, all right, yeah, go game day East, go Buffs, yeah. All right, so let's dive into this. Our Ralphie report today. So literally, a new Ralphie the 7th has been. I guess we know that the Ralphie the 7th was in the making, but she will debut tomorrow versus Wyoming. So my understanding is she will be running the team out, which is fantastic news. A little bit about the Buffalo, 1-year-old Buffalo from Eagles Wing Ranch in Steamboat Springs, was a gift from the Beauprez family, which is a multi-generational University of Colorado alumni. So thank you all for that. We love our Ralphie. The home game days have just not felt right without Ralphie running out. So we will get that tomorrow, and man, hopefully that energizes the team and they go beat the brakes off Wyoming. So press release about Ralphie the 7th. What they said is Ralphie the 7th, who is definitely not indifferent to running, which is great news, right? That's kind of the beef we had with I guess why the other Ralphie the 6th was retired. Just not really wanting to run, get after, which is okay. But she will make her debut by leading the CU football team out before kickoff against the Cowboys, which is scheduled for 8:15 p.m. And just what they said is from the University of Colorado is fans are encouraged to get their seats by 8 p.m. to make sure they don't miss her inaugural gallop. So make sure we're there at 8 in the stands. Late kickoff tomorrow night, as we know, but just to see that first initial run. So this will be it's fantastic news. So this is one of the best parts of going to the CU game, outside of the team. But really cool. One of the best mascot in all of college football, in my opinion. So really awesome, though. Coach Prime, he was asked a little bit about so Dabo Swinney, right, coach at Clemson, they were asked him a little bit about, I can't remember what it was, the 1 and 2 start. Prime echoed that when asked about it, and what he said was, and why not us? Why can't we turn it around? Why can't we correct the wrongs with the rights and display consistency and do those things? Because we have the talent in-house. We just got to put it to usage and do what we are capable of doing. Again, that was by Coach Prime, and yeah, I mean, he's not wrong there. Again, this is a huge week for Colorado. Really huge week. Let me say this. Yeah, awesome news, new era. Here comes Ralphie. Huge missing game piece has been restored. Yeah, I am super excited. So we're going to make sure to get in there a little bit earlier than we normally do. But I'm really excited to see Ralphie run. So make sure we are all there in our seats cheering loud as can be. Get that place turned up. So make sure we're in there at 8. But what Coach Prime said, yeah, I mean, I get that 110%. I'm with Prime on that. Right? The Buffs have to do better. Why not us? They have the talent. They absolutely do, right? Now with again, we'll see what that looks like. Hopefully they're on the same page. Hopefully, that ass kicking in Houston took its toll a little bit, and this team's ready to go and fired up, ready to roll. So sometimes it takes an ass kicking to get it together. So hopefully that is where the Buffs are at. Hopefully they're ready to roll. I mean, I know we are. Every week I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to get too hyped on this. I'm not going to get too high, too low, those kind of things. Last week I was pretty upset with the loss. But I think now moving into tomorrow, I think game day comes around and then we all start to get optimistic again. So that's where my head's at. That's where I'm at. Cannot wait for tomorrow night, 8:15 kickoff. We will be there, same lot that we're always in, next to the Coors Event Center. Come by and say what's up. If you guys are going to be attending the game, but would love to have each and every single one of you come by. We'll be there. We'll be there though. So come check us out over there. Let me see. We had, these are just a couple notes that I had from Wednesday show that were kind of a little bit, I don't want to call them overlooked, but we didn't hit a ton on. But according to Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports, right, Salter will start if you did not know yet. One of the things that really stuck out that I didn't have enough time to hit on, because I really wanted us to get into the preview about Wyoming, was Coach Bartolone talked about finding their identity as an offense, most importantly, to solidify the QB's position and maximize his skill set. I wish you guys can see kind of my notes. Maximize his skill sets. I have it in all caps, bolded with 3 exclamation points at the end. This has to get done. They have to maximize Caden Salter's skill set. He is, again, this coming weekend, tomorrow night, Caden Salter will be the best athlete on the field when he is on the field. There is no reason to make him a passer. They have to let Caden be Caden. And again, we'll get into that as we get into the what I have is our keys to the games, but they got to let Caden be Caden. It's that simple. So maximize his skill set. So let's dive into recruiting now. So big, kind of a, it's big week for recruiting. It kind of got overshadowed, right, by the QB situation. Now the Ralphie news. It is, when a team is struggling, right, the best thing to do is you win. It cancels out everything, the quarterback noise, everything goes away. So that is the best cure for this. So there is a lot of news out of recruiting, needless to say. Emmanuel Ruffin, he will take an OV this weekend to Boulder, so an official visit. He's a 4-star recruit out of Bessemer, Alabama. So I did hit on this on Wednesday's show right before we jumped in with Cody to talk about the game. But 4-star recruit out of Bessemer, Alabama. He is ranked 122nd nationally for defensive linemen, 19th defensive lineman in the country, and 9th overall prospect in Alabama. He's 6'4", 290 pounds. So again, this is not a flip target. This is somebody who has not committed anywhere yet. So we are. This is big news. Hopefully the Buffs do something to land him, because this would, again, as we can tell, that you win and lose games in the trenches. That defensive line needs some help, right? So we'll see if this is something they can land. Again, he is basically 6'4", 290, according to 24/7 Sports. Where he's warm on, like the schools that he's warm on, right, is Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, and yours truly, right, the Colorado Buffaloes. So that is where he's at right now. Really exciting. I hope they land this player. Now, I did want to jump into just a little bit about him, what I have seen just in the limited film that I have watched. His strengths. So here are his strengths, right? Versatility, plays primarily as a 5 technique DN, but can shift to D tackle or nose tackle, offering flexibility in multiple fronts. I would expect to see him play more so, right, that D tackle or nose tackle position. He's stout against the run, uses hip explosion and leverage to defeat double teams effectively. He's his athleticism, quick first step, and agility for somebody that is 6'4", 290 pounds. He disrupts both run and pass plays. Now, just some improvement areas. And again, this is not like where he's going to struggle. These are just improvement areas. And again, we see a lot of these with tons of high school kids. Again, they're 17, 18 years old at this point. So just some improvement areas for our friend Emmanuel here. Play strength relies more on athleticism than raw power. Needs to build upper body strength to consistently shed blockers. And again, this goes for almost every single, outside of a handful of high school players that are coming in. Pass rush technique, lacks refined moves, depending heavily on initial bursts to generate pressure. Again, these are very, very normal for a high school defensive lineman. Consistency, still developing dominance against elite high school competition, needs to refine skills for power forward level. So again, this is just my 2 cents on him, but he is a fantastic player. Would be a major gift for the Buffs if they could land him, but Emmanuel Ruffin is someone to keep an eye on. Really excited. The Buffs land him. That is a huge, huge win for Colorado. And again, that defensive front. Another player, Christian Ward, our friend that we've been talking about. So let me see if I still got this in here. Our flip watch. So our guy, Christian Ward, where are you at? He should be on here somewhere. Or was he on our visits? Nope. Oh, I think that's an old. Okay, so our guy right here, Christian Ward, we've been talking about him from IMG. Three-star receiver, 6'3", 185 pounds, 105th wide receiver in the country, according to Rivals. We've been talking about him, like I said, as a flip target for around a month now. So he is set to make a commitment. Set date is September 24th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So those of us here in Colorado, you're 10:30 a.m. So make sure that we do that. That is this coming, when is that? Wednesday. So just something for us to keep an eye on. Now, what he did say about Colorado, they're top of my list. It was a good visit. I got to see the facility, spend time with the staff, and just get a feel for what life would be like there. The energy around the program as well, being on campus, made that even clearer. So this is sounds like he is. I believe Rivals had a prediction that he will be a Colorado Buffalo. So something to keep our eyes on. But Christian Ward sounds like Colorado has sealed the deal on him, and he will be coming to Colorado Buffalo and be able to, and he will commit on the 24th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time to Colorado. So make sure we're keeping our eyes on that. Something to stay tuned in, but this would be a big get. Again, there's that IMG pipeline for the Buffs. It is real. It is somewhere that they are hitting hard. And again, you cannot blame Colorado for doing that. This IMG Academy is, as we all know, they're there to play football, man. Like, there's other sports, all these things too, but that is a football school. It was essentially developed to play for a pathway into Division I. And so they are one of the best programs in the country. So again, make sure that we tune in, and Christian Ward sounds like will be a Colorado Buffalo. Let's see. Is there any way for these kids, high school kids? Oh, sorry. Humble Texan said, is there any way for these kids, high school kids, especially to prep for the game day experience, lights, fan noise? I feel like that's always a big jump, even for like Salter coming in. Yeah, so some of these kids, just depends on where they play. Right? You play there in DeSoto, Texas, right there. You're playing in a college stadium at that point. The bright lights are there, right? They're playing under them, tons of pressure there. IMG is kind of the same way. But, when we start getting into like Caden Salter, right, in high school, right, you go to Liberty and then you play in some of, his first game is Colorado Buffalo, national televised, humongous game at home, sold out crowd, everybody fired up. And again, he's the one who had to take the reins, the post Shedeur Sanders. And again, not his fault. Everybody was expecting, we got comfortable watching Shedeur Sanders. And again, I'll admit I did too. I think it just goes a little bit more how much to appreciate Shedeur, but again, not so much about him. But for Caden Salter, I don't know if there's a way to prep for it like that. The speed of the game, everything that they're going to see in college, not to that extent. Especially once you start attending these big universities like Georgia, Alabama, with UT Austin, right? Longhorns. I don't think there's any way to prep for that though. It's just kind of this is what happens. So I don't know if they to get that full prep, probably not. I would say no. But some of these kids though have played in humongous games their whole life. Like Julian Lewis, for instance, I don't think that's ever going to be a thing for him just because of where he's been, where he's played. Even as a freshman, setting all those records, in the state championship game as a true freshman, as a freshman in high school. That doesn't exist true in redshirt in high school, but as a freshman, Julian Lewis, I don't think that'll ever necessarily take place with him. So I would say no, not really. I think it just depends on the person more than anything. So, but for recruiting, that's about it for that today. That it's a big weekend though in Boulder, one that I'm thrilled for. The Buffs should be. Hopefully they land these two kids. So, and then we talked about our cornerback from Virginia Tech. Nothing set yet, but I know that the school, that Colorado reached out as well as 25 other programs. It was, I cannot remember his name. Cornerback from Virginia Tech. Love was his last name. I think it's Dante Love or something to that effect. But because those kids can now enter the transfer portal. Again, you cannot enter the portal. They don't come and play like next week. They get an early jump on it, and then they enroll in the spring semester, after that December, January winter break time. So something to keep our eye on there, as well as the UCLA and Virginia Tech decommits. There was a 4-star, I think the Buffs have some interest in. I cannot remember who it was, though. So we'll pull that up as well. I'm sure once it gets closer and a visit is scheduled or the interest is there, that's something we'll talk about is that gets closer or more realistic, I should say. So, yeah. And then one more thing I want to talk about is I did mention this again. I just didn't have enough time on Wednesday to talk in detail about it. The transfer portal. So again, if you didn't catch us on Wednesday, transfer portal, there is now only one portal. So the spring portal is completely gone. There is one portal during the football season. The proposed was January 2nd through the 11th. That is not set yet, but again, that is just the proposal. What I'm seeing, I should say, is that is technically kind of probably around what you'll be looking at. So 9-10 day window. I think it's a 10-day window. But that is what the portal is going to look like moving forward. Again, for better, for worse, I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but these are just the rules that are being established in this NIL era. So transfer portals are going to be more, part of me thought it was going to die down a little bit. It's going to be even more popping now, and it's going to be way more congested when now it is known that there's only one portal. So we'll see what that looks like as we get closer to end of the season. That's, end of the season stuff. I'm not excited for the end of the season. So we'll deal with that when that comes up. Just an update on that as well. So now I want to talk about some keys to the game. Let's see. So Chad says, how do you think the new transfer portal changes? So hold on. How do you think the new transfer portal change impacts the kids? Do you think there's any positive? I think it impacts them just by more kids are going to be into the portal. They'll be in there more. It's going to be more congested, probably more competitive, probably a lot more money thrown around. I think the positive is some of these kids walk away and get paid, right? And some of these kids know right after the season, right? So just for instance, right, we want to see how spring ball goes. So I think the negative side would be they don't get to see how spring ball goes and where they are on the depth chart heading into the next season. They only get to figure out where they were at during the past season. So it is I think there's pros and cons that I know for coaches. The coaches probably all love this. Programs love it just because what you have going into spring ball, if that makes sense. So like you don't have to sit there and be like, I wonder if he's going to transfer. He's slotted in to be our starter here, penciled in. So I think the positives are there for the coaches and probably, the kids too. They get a chance to build build themselves within a program, and sometimes it takes hard work to get to where you need to be. I shouldn't say sometimes, all the time it's going to take hard work to get to where they need to be. Some of them just transfer and hoping, because again, you missed that transfer portal from the early January. You can't do it for another year. So again, I think there's pros and cons to it, but I think for the development of some of these kids, sometimes, what I'm always weary is these kids entering the portal and we're kind of told something, right? There's this X amount of dollars on the table for you. And then to find out it wasn't the case. One of the ones that I keep thinking about a lot is our friend, Simeon Price, for one, had that happen to him. And then our Isaiah Augusta of last year. I think he transferred to Wake Forest. And then I don't even know where he's at this point. Haven't heard of him. Best thing would have been for him was to stay in Boulder. And, I know when he jumped back in the portal, spring portal, people wanted him back, but I mean, I think that ship has kind of sailed when you jump in the portal like that, right? So I think it has its pros and cons, but I think a good, point in case is Isaiah Augusta, that we've personally seen here at CU so recently. So if he wouldn't have jumped in the portal, probably not. We wouldn't have seen him there, and he probably still would have been at Wake Forest. And I think it also holds teams accountable as well, right? You get a guy in there, and he is not who you thought he was. And offered a scholarship for that next year. I mean, this is what it is at this point, right? And I know they can, I don't want to say pool scholarships, but they have their ways about it. So, oh, yikes, yeah. I just saw this from Kenyon Morris said, South Carolina, he's the 5th string running back. Man, talk about some bad information from whoever the agent or whoever gave that to him. That is, gosh, that hurts my heart to hear that about him, because Isaiah Augusta, that dude was really going to have a big year if he came back to CU. Right. And then, we start doing the ripple effect there. I wonder if DeKalin Taylor comes here, right? Like, what does that look like? Do they even go after a Simeon Price? So I think that, tons of ripples, tons of, domino effect, whatever we want to call it. But man, that really sucks though. That sucks for Isaiah, because he's a big time talent for sure. Kenyon, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, no wonder why we haven't heard about him. So that really sucks though. So hopefully he is able to dig himself out of the 5th string running back there at South Carolina, start getting some playing time, because man, he is a young man, has a lot of talent there. So yeah, we'll see what comes of it. All right, so keys to the game. Again, I think this is kind of what everybody is saying, what we're all thinking. First one is design the offense to fit Caden. I really, really hope what Coach Bartolone said, his quote about maximizing the player's skill set, I really hope that holds true, because, man, this would, part of me thinks that we're in a spot right now. The optimistic side of me thinks, okay, this is the week they're going to figure it out. This is the week they're going to get it straightened out. I don't know if that's the case. That is the way I want to think. I would love to take, and again, I'll just say, I'm taking Coach Bartolone's words there, maximizing his skill set, and that is what I'm going to believe him here, right? If this is not what takes place and we still trying to see Caden Salter turn into Shador Sanders, and we still see these tunnel and bubble screens where everything moves horizontally, I think that's I think after this week, I'm probably going to stop being so optimistic, because good. I think if they can get this turned around next week, right? They get BYU at Folsom, they get it turned around this week, man. They can go on a little run here, right? But that, right, and then at TCU, that's going to be a tough one, right? Like, I don't know what that looks like, but after the Buffs have to win this game this weekend, they have to win next weekend. It's that simple. So we'll see what they do, but I'm going to take them at their words. I'm going to hope that my hope is that Caden does get in there. The play calling looks different, and essentially we're running an offense that looks like Georgia Tech, that looks like what Houston did last Friday night. So that's where I'm at. That's my hope for this weekend, for tomorrow night. But we'll see. And again, he just needs to be able to run the ball, run those read options, right? Run those things, run RPOs, run power play, like quarterback power. Like, seriously, it is not that difficult in my opinion, right? Like, it is. Stop making this more confusing than it needs to be. Get those receivers downfield, let them burn. Those Wyoming DBs aren't going to be able to keep up with them. Like, they're really not going to be able to keep up with them. Just the physical traits of the athletic traits, I should say, of the Colorado receivers. Yeah, Wyoming's DBs can't keep up with them. So we'll see what they do. Again, I'm very hopeful that we see a different offense where they're bombing that thing, running it all over, right? We get some jet sweep action going on. It would be fantastic, right? Jet sweep, keep, right? All of these different kind of things that Colorado has at their disposal with a quarterback like Caden Salter that they weren't able to do these last couple years. Because, again, that's not who Shedeur was, right? So hopefully they start calling the offense the way it needs to be called for Caden Salter. Because, again, I believe in that young man. I think he has so much potential, so much talent, but it just has to be used correctly. And my hope is that they have figured some things out and stop being stubborn. Stop being stubborn about it. Let's get this damn thing rolling already. Enough's enough. So we'll see what they do with that. Now, defense, man, the defense just needs to tackle, right? I started sitting there thinking about all the missed tackles, right? If you did not know this, Buffs have 24 missed tackles over the past 2 weeks. So 13 against Delaware, 11 last week at Houston. I read somewhere that it was like 2 or 3 against Georgia Tech. That does not feel or sound correctly. I can think of 3 or 4 Haynes King alone broke. So I don't think that's the case. But again, they do need to make some tackles. They have to wrap up, bring them to the ground, stop over pursuing things, stop getting caught in the wash. Now, this Wyoming offense is not very good. So it would be really shitty is if they were to come into Folsom and they get their offense figured out, because the Buffs are giving up 400 whatever yards per game on defense. So this defense has to be ready to go. And a lot of the big plays happen because there are so many missed tackles. So they cannot do this. This is why the missed tackles, when you start piling them up like that, chunk plays start to happen, right? I think I saw this thing today where it was like outside of Houston, Connor Wigman's 49-yard run, the Buffs are only giving up like 2.6, 2.8 yards a carry over the past 2 weeks, outside of the game against Georgia Tech. So again, even one play like that, you miss a tackle, you make a wrong read, they're off to the races. Like, you cannot let them get to the second level. Tawfiq Bayard played a fantastic game. Do not get me wrong, but you do not want your safety leading your team in tackles, because that means they're getting to the second level. Your safety is back there protecting and making a play so they don't go 50, 60 yards. So again, these missed tackles have to stop. It's really going to set the season back once Big 12 play starts. And again, it did start right against Houston, and we've seen the result of that. Next week against BYU, you start missing tackles, start getting bullied in the trenches like that, man, that is going to be a long night. It's going to get ugly quickly, because BYU does not do that. So, and again, if you make mistakes against BYU, they're going to make you pay for it. So again, make sure that they're tackling, wrap up, wait for the rest of the gang to get there, but tackles there can't be this many missed tackles anymore. My third key to the game, and again, this is no more subbing, which and again, I don't mean it as far as like subbing players like this. We have to know who our outside corners are. We have to know who the starting four is that's going to be there on the defensive line, and who are your two backers, right? And your two safeties, I should say. Two safeties, in my opinion, Bam Fennesith and our friend Tawfiq Bayard. Those should be the two safeties. Again, I would give Preston Hodge, I think he's going to get his thing worked out. But, right, we have Hodge in the slot, is our slot corner, DJ McKinney. And I don't know what they're going to do with the other outside corner, but, we'll see what they do. Makari Vickers, I have a lot of faith in him. We'll see who they start. I don't think a depth chart has come out yet. Typically, it's on game day. But I would start Makari Vickers out there. I'm not sure what the plan is there, but I do like him. I just think he needs some playing time to get to get it together. The linebackers, I don't even know at this point. I do like what I see from Sean Meyer at times. Jeremiah Brown, like what I see from him, but it's so inconsistent. I do hope Kylan Salter is available this weekend. Very curious to see what he brings. But he's one of those linebackers that can be an all every down linebacker, 4-down linebacker, right? So we'll see what they do with that. But I really do hope that he's ready to roll this weekend. And again, I just think that needs to be cleared up. I do. I didn't see any injury reports this week, and maybe I just missed them or it was a busy week. But I would like to see Jaheim Otis play more. BDS, right? Brandon Davis Swain. I think those two should be your two starters in the middle, and Arden Key, I think should be our other one on that, and then Alex McPherson. Man, I'm big on Alex McPherson. Man, I love that kid. That kid plays like a man amongst boys, just throwing people around, getting pressure. Man, I'm very, very hopeful Alex McPherson gets a start tomorrow. He has earned it, and I don't think London Merritt is too far behind Arden at this point. Like, those two went in and wrecked the game, London Merritt and Alex McPherson. And the scary part about this is, think about that was their defensive line at IMG last year. Like, those two started on a high school team. Like, that is, I don't even know what other teams did. Like, I am like now curious to go back and just watch defensive snaps that for IMG last year, because holy cow, those two are wrecking the game. They cause havoc. They have to be accounted for. They are hungry, and man, I'm excited. I think they're close to almost being the starters. London Merritt and Alex McPherson. I love Artem Walker, right? I love Keaton Way too. Do not get me wrong there, but London and McPherson can play the run and pass. Like, that is, and just the chaos and havoc that they create, So it is those two can wreck the whole game plan. So my hope is that those two get a lot of playing time and that Alex McPherson starts. Like, what he did last weekend, that was insane. Like, that was crazy watching him play last week. And I know the first couple times I saw him a couple weeks ago, I was like, man, like, who is that 98? I was like, oh, it's Alex McPherson. And now when you saw just even at home popping off the screen on TV, holy cow, that dude, you guys are probably going to get tired now of me talking about Alex McPherson moving forward, but that kid is special. Colorado needs to get him as many snaps as they possibly can. I feel the same about London. Those two are going to wreck some games, and the crazy part is there are true freshmen. Think about even next year at this time, like what they're going to be working with, and then 2 years from now. Like, the Buffs have their two D ends set. Then you land, Emmanuel Ruffin, Jaheim Otis comes back. Brandon Davis Swain is a redshirt freshman, I think he is. You end up with that, man. You got your defensive line figured out for these next few years, right? So I'm excited for this. I can't wait for. I'm hopeful Alex McPherson gets a start tomorrow, and I think that's the route that they should go. So again, Alex, man, just keep doing a great job. You are killing it, dude. Like, love watching you play. He's little, baby Max Crosby is what I'm gonna start calling him with that number 98 he wears. So really excited for that. So we'll see what they do, and hopefully they can keep those dudes on the field. Offensively, this is the week I think they needed to decide. This is the week they needed to decide who's the quarterback. And for better or for worse, you guys know how much I love Julian Lewis here. Those of us that, watch the show consistently, you're rolling with Caden Salter right now. You got to stick with him for better or for worse at this point moving forward. You got to stick with him now. No more pulling him. No more any of that thing. Like, this has to stop. Stop rotating quarterbacks. As much as I want Julian to develop, I would put him in situations, maybe like blowouts underway, or, I don't think meaningful minutes. You pull Caden out, you mess up the rhythm. So I think Caden, you got to roll with Caden Salter the rest of the way if this is what you're going to do. We are now entering week 4, a quarter of the season's almost done, maybe a little bit more now. this has to be figured out. There's no more. I don't think that there's a way to go back at this point. And I think Caden needs to embrace this and run with it. Let me shift gears here. G says, I don't agree with the transfer window being in January. I hope they put it in the spring. Why in the spring and not in the what would be the difference to you? And I guess my thing is I like it at the end of the season. And again, it depends if you're, bowl games, whatever it may be. But I believe, though, after the bowl game, they get it like a 10-day window as well. Regardless, right? They play a national championship. You still get 10 days. So just kind of curious as to why you want it there. And again, I think I can see both sides. I think I know you're going to go with this, but just more curious as to what you're thinking. Yeah, if they can't put things together, what keeps McPherson and Merritt from entering the portal? Playing time system, get them in there. Let them start playing, let them start wrecking havoc, right? Like they would be established already at Colorado. They go somewhere else. And again, like completely honest, right? Those two would probably end up in the SEC or Big Ten somewhere where whomever is in front of them, they don't know when they're going to see the field again. So right now, Colorado, they know that they're the starters next year. If they don't become the starters this year, again, Alex McPherson should start. In my opinion, that is one I am like pretty sure got to make my wife buy me an Alex McPherson jersey next in 98. So I am, but again, I can't wait to watch him play tomorrow. So my hope is that he is a starter, or if that's not the case, man, give that kid as many reps as you possibly can. Give him snap after snap after snap. Like I am, kids shouldn't really leave the field, if that makes sense. So we're real excited for those two. Let me see, where were we at? Yeah, the chemistry. So there's been no, with the subbing, jumping back into that, there has been no chemistry. There's been offensive line, right? Kareem Harden and Zy Chrysler rotating at right guard. Like, I don't understand that. Like, especially with the offensive line, like that is extremely difficult to do. Or maybe there's a giveaway that they're doing when he comes in, right? Because we know Zy is 6'7", 370 or whatever. You put him in, that there's no zone blocking, or he's not going to pull through, like, right? Because he's huge. So I don't know what I guess I probably should break down so you film a little bit better, or should break it down. I haven't been doing a ton of that this year. I think I've just been more frustrated this year watching it. So maybe that is something I'm going to do to see when those two sub in and out. I do know this, though. They should just run power football. Let's just run a gap scheme, power gap scheme. That offensive line is huge. And again, I understand there's some things you still have to run some zone, but the majority of the runs, those should be power gap scheme. Like that offensive line is huge. Essentially, it's just line up our best versus yours and go. And Colorado, with that massive of an offensive line, is going to win, most times. So I think move to a gap scheme and let's just get rolling. Power football, man. Just run it down their throat. So, and then there was one thing that Prime said. He said players. What did he say? There was something about leadership. There was talking about like leadership. Who's the leaders of this team? It was posted yesterday by Bucky. So Deion Sanders Jr. And he was saying basically he was telling the team like someone needs to step up. Those of you who aren't starting, why at this point, like and I'm curious to what he's talking about. Like I am I think I know. And Cody brought something up on my show. Let me talk about that. Northside. What's up, Northside? Everything's good, man. Just ready for tomorrow's game. Caden's getting ready to roll. And it sounds like they're going to switch some offense. So, right. So we'll see about that, but I'm not 110% sure. So we'll see what ends up happening tomorrow. But hopefully you're doing all right. Thanks for joining us, as always, Northside. Yeah. So, back to this. Cody brought something up where I felt selfish after him saying this. I don't even know if selfish was the right word or just forgot because it's not my life. I don't know what the right word was, but he said, how much of the impact do you think what's going on with the Buffaloes, right, with the Colorado football team is Prime's absence, right, with battling cancer. And again, thank God he beat cancer. Like that is, man. But I think that has a lot to do with it, like, right? Like the leadership aspect of it, right? Started diving even deeper into it. And then when he said that today, it's like the kids were probably missing that during. And again, not like the other coaches weren't saying that. Again, I'm not that close, but they didn't develop leaders, right? Like how could they when Prime's not there, the head coach not there, the presence is not there, what he wants day in, day out. And again, he's not there for a good reason. But part of me is, man, are they trying to, since Prime's been back since summer ball, this is probably what they were trying to establish, right? This is what they're trying to do instead of, during the off season when this normally takes place. And I understand both sides of this. Like, completely understand both sides of, like, Prime, so glad he's doing better, so glad he's back to coach. What is he supposed to do there, right? But him, right, like the health, the cancer battle he had to battle, like, it is seriously, like, well, makes sense. Not only did they lose Shedeur, they lost Travis, right? They lost Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, the two leaders of the team. Like, yes, this is what is going on right now. Like, you lose your two leaders. Oh, also BJ Green's gone, right? They start losing Levante Bentley, he's gone, right? Nakai Hill Green, he's gone, right? We keep going. Colton Hood's gone, right? Cameron Sullivan Craig, he's gone, right? It just is kind of like, oh yeah, Jimmy Horn's gone, right? We start looking at all these things and you're kind of like, yeah, Will Shepard's gone. LaJohntay Wester's gone, right? Like, and it's all the leadership left. All of the leadership left. Jordan Seaton is doing a fantastic job. His leadership is awesome. But it just feels just like one right now, right? Like that is where we're at. And again, that was missing during the offseason. And again, it's not a bad, like, Dion had to do, Coach Prime had to do what he had to do. And I get that completely, but it's like, yeah, here we are. And again, not knocking it whatsoever. What I'm saying is, I think we got to give a little bit of grace, a little bit of empathy there as well, as to understand what was lost this offseason. And Coach Prime wasn't really around this offseason to try to mold those leaders. And that is what he's doing now. So, and building that, like Duke said, this is going to stick with me forever. It is extremely disciplined, right? A disciplined program. The leader of the what the program's supposed to look like has been missing. So that was kind of I don't want to say a slap in the face for me, but just more of like, yeah, this is a lot bigger than football, than what we see on the field, and these kids know, what did I hear the other day? Something about, the wins and losses are great or something. But teaching these kids, and again, that is what Prime said, right? Like, he's sticking, man of his word, teaching them how to do things correctly. So I'm, just super taking a backseat to it. Like, okay, I see where we're at now. So that is more like a not a wake up call, just more like this is what's happening in the program right now. And again, that's okay. Again, Prime did what he had to do for his health reasons, and he is, came back and doing what he does. So, and that leadership it'll start to emerge here shortly. Let me see. Anthony says Swayze's not the answer. Coach Mo had them players faster and stronger last year. They did look faster, but I think they had faster players just in general, like the Buffs lost a lot this offseason. I think that conversation I had with Cody really, I don't want to say changed my perspective, but helped it a little bit more. And where this Buffs team, you don't replace Shedeur Sanders. Like, again, everybody was up in arms that was not around the CU football program, right? Shedeur's number is retired up in the stadium, right? It's in the Colorado Ring of Fame, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, there's a reason it's up there. It's not because that is Deion Sanders' son. It's because that kid is, outside of a hand like Cordell Stewart and Joe Klatt, that is the best quarterback in Colorado history. So, and then Travis Hunter, you never replace a Heisman Trophy winner. Oh yeah, by the way, cornerback as well, the best corner in the country, as well as the best wide receiver. You don't replace that. So, yeah, I think it's just kind of a little bit of a time of grace, I think, for this team. And again, it is, I think that's where we kind of should be at. I know that doesn't feel good. That doesn't sound good, but it is this is where we're at, man. This is the reality of it. Humble Texan says it's easy to forget this is bigger than football. Questions like Cody's put things into straight. Yeah, it really did for me, where I'm kind of like, man, like ease off a little bit. Prime is he's doing his thing now. He's doing his thing, and this is what it is. So I'm pretty. It just helped me come to, I don't want to say grips, but just more of like what the Buffs are dealing with for sure. I seem Swayze was going to have them faster and stronger this year, but we are getting bullied around. We look soft on defense. Yeah, yep. That front does, though, for sure. It does for sure. And again, I think one of the guys that doesn't look soft when he played, Jaheim was out last week. But we look at that, and Jaheim Otis, man, he doesn't get bullied. Like, that dude pushes the pocket, pushes dudes. You better double team Jaheim Otis because he's going to go make a play. So I think I truly do. Those four should be, I would rotate 6-7 guys at this point, and mostly that would be, and again, you can't play your D tackles every single snap, but you can kick Alex McPherson in. He's big enough to do that as well, to rotate at both, different spots. But I like those two. I like those two a lot in there, BDS and Jaheim Otis. So hopefully they're back. And my hope is that Sam Okunloa is back as well. I have not seen any injury reports. Again, I have not followed their injury as much as I should have this week, but that would be my hope. Yeah. Humble Texan says, I was hopeful Staub could lead. He had locker room momentum behind him, still looking for the leader to stand up. Yeah. Yep. And I think that's what they were searching for. It didn't work, and it's okay, and again, there's only a handful of coaches that can do what Prime did with benching Salter and then not even giving, your 5-star quarterback a shot and playing your third string. And that's Prime. That's the way he rolls. And, again, those stars, none of that stuff matters to Prime, man. This is you earn what you get, and he says that, but I'm a firm believer. I guess I'm in this camp right now. Let's cut some grace, a little bit of empathy. Let's see what this team can do, because Prime is, he's back in the house now. He's been there since, July. But I think whatever message he sent, whatever he said, they know what that meant. So if you guys have not seen that, check out what Bucky said or posted. But it was fantastic, though. And it's like, man, this is all coming full circle from what Cody said. So I even actually sent him that clip today. So let's see. That's why I feel like if Prime was present doing recruiting staff, taking players out the portal, half these won't be on the team. That's what, yeah. I think I was present doing. Yeah, that's why I feel like if Prime was present, doing recruiting, staff taking players out the portal, half these won't be on the team. Yeah, and I think too, part of it was North. I don't know if you caught the show the other day, but it does make more sense now that we look at it. He wasn't there during the spring portal. He wasn't there during even the winter portal, right? Like, he wasn't there. And this portal class kind of lacked a little bit, and we were all kind of scratching our heads, but it all makes sense now a little bit more what Prime was focusing on, right? And again, that's what he should be focusing on, was his health. So that's where I feel it all kind of came full circle for me the other day about this whole thing, what took place. He wasn't there to continue that. Again, the players should have as well, but the lead man was gone. Lead dog was gone at that point, and that leadership role was not filled. And right now, what Prime is doing, he's trying to get that thing filled. And he went to Ryan Staub. He's like, man, this dude was here last year. He came in the game, lit it up. This dude shows up, works hard. This is what we want out of our quarterback. So, somebody was saying that basically the team, what did he say? The team, they might have tanked that game on, regardless, the first conference game to prove a point. That was not the case. The hope was to catch lightning in the bottle there with Staub and hope it worked out. It didn't. It was just that simple. I think the hope was, they would find somebody, right? The hope was, again, to catch lightning in the bottle. You had your leader and to say, this is how you carry yourself, regardless. I don't think they started Staub to make a point. There was none of that going on. This is just what this is where we're at right now. And again, my hope is that Caden or whatever is going on, he gets up to the standard, right? If that is the case. I don't know if that's the case or not, but we'll, just wait and see kind of thing. This season is showing. So Anthony says the season is showing a lack of coaching. The players we have are talented, but good coaching brings the best out of their playmakers. Yeah, I do. I agree with you to an extent. On offense, absolutely. Those the play calling is atrocious. I was trying to be supportive, trying to be this first couple weeks of the season, but my God, that offense, there is no reason for this offense to look the way it does right now. It is way too talented. There's no reason it should look like this. So, again, what Bartolone said, my hope is that now the defense, part of me is now, not part of me, what I think happened was you had Travis Hunter last year, and you could say, Red, and, I said this to Cody, all right, Travis, you go take their best receiver, go take that side. They're gone at that point, right? Like that receiver, please, we dare you to throw it over there. And if you do, thank you so much for throwing it because Travis is going to pick that or make a play. Something, it's not going to go well throwing it that way. So now what they could do is read that a cover one look, you cheat your safety to the other side. And that is where Colorado doesn't have that luxury anymore, which is okay. Every team does this, but I do think the defense needs to switch some things up, and they need to hammer down on their rotation, right, with their D-line, but they need to get that figured out. There can't just be dudes in, out, all over the like. Figure out who you're playing, roll with it. Roll with it at this point. We're going into week 4. Again, a third quarter of the season is over. This needs to continue. They need to figure out who it is that is playing. This can't continue this way. Strawberry cupcake. I think we were all hoping that he balled out, and that, and again, it's not his fault. It's not his fault whatsoever. So, and again, I think the OC has been a problem. I think even in the media when the players talk, even the coaching in general, you've heard a couple things come out, right? What Preston Hodge said, I almost called him Preston Hood, what Preston Hodge said last week about like stopping the run. And again, there is some truth to that about being in so much man-to-man. The receivers, though, for the most part on run plays against Colorado are running routes because they don't have to block them. They're in man. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully some changes happen. Northside said, I think some of the players was skipping workouts and not doing extra season compared to other lines. Yeah. Yep. And that is probably what was going on, right? Like that leadership that is gone, right? And those guys we reeled off, like those dudes are gone. Like somebody needed to step in that needed to be built during the offseason. And again, the head man of this all was not there. And rightfully so not there, taking care of his house. So I think that's where they're at right now. And they're building it up right now. And my hope is we see a completely different Caden Salter, one that's ready to work, one that's ready to do his thing, man. I'm off of Bartolone's comments, man. I'm pretty juiced for tomorrow. I'm pretty amped up for it. But we'll see what comes of this, though. This year we were horrible at tackling and can't wrap up. Pat Shurmur keeps calling the bubble screen to the left. Right. I mean, come on. Yeah. He is I don't know what's going on. And I do wonder now how many of these plays did Shador audible out of? Seems like a lot. So I do think that there was a lot of things we don't know about. And again, Pat Shurmur, and again, it's not just coming from the CU fan base, right? Like we see, I don't know if you guys seen it, was Steve Smith. He was talking about Travis Hunter getting a couple illegal shifts, wasn't lined up in the right part, but Steve Smith, Hall of Fame wide receiver, was talking about it, and it's like, yeah, it's because Pat Shurmur is not a good play caller, or said something like that. I was like, dang, okay. And, you have Asante Samuel coming out and saying things. So, again, I don't think it's just us being upset fans, but when you start hearing it from NFL players, Hall of Famers, Super Bowl winners, something's going on there. So again, I don't know what that looks like. My hope is that somebody else was involved. A couple people were involved in the play calling and game planning moving forward. Jordan Seaton is the only dog on the offensive line. It feels like that, right? One that we don't hear a lot about, which is a good thing, and is Zarian McGill. I'm curious about, I guess one of the things tomorrow I'm going to watch is him tomorrow because we don't hear a lot, which is good, right? Like we don't hear like, oh, he got blown up, he gave up a sack. Like we don't hear anything. And again, as an offensive lineman, when we don't hear your name, it's a good thing. So, but I do, yeah, Jordan Seaton, man, that dude's one of a kind though, like one of one. So you're not gonna, you don't just find Jordan Seaton's, lying around or in the port. You just don't. So, Let me see. He only won pity in the extra work. Yeah, putting in the extra work. Yeah, Seaton's running extra after practice, lifting more. That dude's, and again, it shows on the field. I'm curious as to see, hopefully that's changed since the season goes on, but the example was set, and right now I think it's kind of safe to say the example was not being followed. And again, that is what happened this offseason. Again, no one could have predicted that. Nobody could have expected that. So what do you do, right? Yeah, I was, my wife and I were talking about this the other day. So where is quarterback Dominique Ponder? Why is Coach Prime hiding him? Ed Reed at Bethune Cookman stated he's a good quarterback. Yeah, and I was looking him up, talked about him a little. My wife and I. So 6'5", dude has a rocket arm on him. Prototypical size. I don't know. And again, I just think at this point we would be getting in, Anthony, to the fourth quarterback, before even letting Julian Lewis get a game at this, right? So I think we're still pretty far off from Dominique Ponder. One of the things I will say, though, is Dominique Ponder enters the game they decide to start him. And again, it's no knock against him, but now your fourth string quarterback is starting. Something has now even went more horribly wrong. I would say that you're probably looking at a loss against Wyoming and probably BYU, and then Dominique Ponder starts or plays a lot. That is probably what would happen. What needs to happen, that we don't want to happen, but probably what would need to happen for Dominique Ponder to get into the game. And again, I don't know a ton about him. I hope he's probably a fantastic player, fantastic quarterback. He has all the size, he has all the tools as well. So I don't know. But it is one that my wife and I talked about last week. So, and then that's, right to you, Northside. Spring would be cleaner for both. Okay, so talking about the portal. All right, G. Spring would be cleaner for both athlete and schools for better planning on roster management for team. Plus, after the excitement of the playoffs are over, gives fans an event to look forward to. Yep. Okay, so this is what I thought you were talking about. And then two, exactly what I thought you were going to say. It really does make more sense in the spring, right? Like you look at this, and then two, your recruiting season is a signing date, like national signing days in like February. And then you would know at that point what you needed in the spring portal. But there is that risk of losing a couple players that just committed to your school as true fresh, as high schoolers coming into college. But again, I think there's no perfect way to go about it, but I do hear what you're saying. I thought that is what you were going to say, but I do like that though. I think, right, I never understood that. Like, how do you win a national title and enter the portal unless you're like a grad transfer or something? That is kind of weird. That does feel weird. And again, once you go through spring portal, it does the spring practice, spring game, all those things, you are able to know where you're at, where you sit within the depth chart as well. So, I get that as well. I understand that piece. And then again, I thought I didn't want to say that, but that is kind of what I was thinking as well. How do we get outcoached by the opposing team when we have 6 to 8 gold jackets coaches on staff? It is, I was my friend and I, so he's a big Colorado fan. We were talking about it a little bit. I don't know. It does feel like that. And sometimes I wonder if that is what's going on. Right. That first half against Delaware definitely felt like that. And some points, right? Like this year, like even like last year against BYU, it felt like that, like in the Alamo Bowl. So I don't know. I don't know what the plan is moving forward, but I think my hope is that a lot changed. And, and again, how much did, those dudes mentioned really, really, how much of that was outweighing bad coaching? Again, I don't know if it's bad coaching or not. I guess I should say the offensive play calling is not where it needs to be. There's way too much talent on this team to be where they're at on offensively, right? You got Amari and the list goes on. I don't even need to name them out. But Yeah, I don't know. It does feel like that some weeks. Again, I'm not for certain on that. And I think one of the things I need to do, I'll watch cut ups of Colorado film or whatever it is. But I think what I need to start doing is actually sitting there, charting plays, charting all those kind of things to figure it out exactly. So that is kind of, I think, my approach to it going to be moving forward. And again, one of the things that I'm not going to pretend is that I'm an expert on any of these things. So again, I'm far from that. I love the game of football, understand it pretty well, but I can give my takes, and maybe that is something I'll bring to the show because again, this is absolutely love the game of football, but just to kind of see what's going on, start watching a little bit more a lot more of the All-22, I should say. So, yeah, I think that's valid. I think Prime will take more freshmen in 2026. We might see 30 freshmen. We'll see more Colorado. Yeah, I think so too, and it's absolutely trending that way. Because I don't think we know what the portal holds at this point. Like. And what I mean by that is, right, with NIL, everything now, there's one portal. We don't know how many players are actually going to enter it, right? Because these contracts these NIL contracts that they sign, they look a lot different. So I'm not sure, but I do think I'm with you there on Northside. They are going to build a really big freshman class. And again, I think I don't know because I know before this, I want to see where this goes. But like Duke said, 6, 7, 8 years away, possibly even 10 years away from figuring out this college football thing and this portal thing, right? What is it like 30-40% of your class leaves recently in the portal when you recruit freshmen? You don't see a ton of them make it past that point. So again, I'm curious to see what this looks like moving forward, but I'm also curious. This class, I do think, is going to be big as well. So we are, and again, like Christian Ward, sounds like he's on the way from IMG, wide receiver, 3-star. Sounds like he's on the way this next, on the 24th. So I think we said that was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday he'll be there. So it feels that way. It really does. Yep. Skipping practice. Let me see. What does it say? Coach Prime doesn't fix this, Jordan Seaton will transfer after the season. And yep. This has to get turned around. And I think not only that, though, think about all the other players that could jump in the portal. This has to get fixed ASAP. And again, if let's say Caden goes out there, and again, I am not, I'm not even going to talk about that. Caden is going to do his thing. He's going to rock it. Play calling is going to be changed. That is my hope for this weekend. So, let's see. S2S, you're right. We don't hear about Xavier. Yeah. We're talking about the center, right? Is that who we're talking about? I believe so. So, yeah, we don't, and that's good. Azarian McGill, yeah, we don't. Oh, Xavier Hill, too. Yeah, we don't hear about him. That, like, center to the left side, left guard, left tackle, we don't hear about. Again, offensive lineman, that is fantastic. The right side is the one struggling, though. That is where they're struggling. So, no, I did not. You catch Matt's show with Coach Stanford? No, I did not. I don't know who Matt is, actually. I thought for some reason I thought it was you said Dave. No, I don't know who Matt is, but I did not catch that. If you could link it, that'd be great. I'd love to hear that, though. So, yeah, I agree. Something is missing. Bouldercar, however, Coach Marshall Falk is doing great. Yeah, that running back room, man, they look good. Those running backs, right? If there's, I was trying to find some positive. It's the running back room, man. Like, gosh, those dudes run hard every single chance they get. Like, our running backs they're running hard. To Kalen Taylor, Simeon Price, right? Like, Simeon Price, like, at this point, that dude should probably be the starter. And DeKalen, like, right? I love Michael Welch. Like, I thought that dude was going to be the bell cow, have 1,300 yards, but feels like Simeon Price and DeKalen Taylor should be getting the majority of the carries. Like, and again, I don't know what's going on with Dallin. My hope is that he does come back because he's a good weapon as well. But man, Simeon Price and DeKalen Taylor, part of me even thinking, like, where would they be without them right now, right? Like, I know that we're still 3 games in, we're 1-2, but where would this honestly be a little bit, right? So Marshall Falk is he's doing great work with that running back room. You could tell the difference there. Needs mentorship from Nick Saban. I know I was how do you fix it, right? Like, you and Nick Saban are friends. Why didn't Nick Saban come be, right? Like, have him be, what is it, quality control over the defense, even the offense, heck, right? So yeah, I would love for Nick Saban. That would be fantastic. So yeah, right. BYU, we sucked last year. Delaware game sucked to watch. Oh man, yeah, the BYU game that was awful last year. My wife and I, we went to an alumni thing to watch the game at this bar. Right, we didn't make it out to San Antonio. We tried. Maybe we tried. Maybe it was just crazy expensive, but we watched it there, and it was awful. It sucked. Was not fun. But yeah, like that was what 6 weeks, and man, they didn't look prepared. So even Prime said something, right? Like those bowl games can carry into the next year, and feels like it did, right? Like and that ass kicking carried into this year. It feels like Ponder has only thrown 8 passes in his college career, and 2 were. Oh, okay. So he needs buffs. Jack scored. He's probably not going to get in at that point. I didn't know. I've seen his stature. I've seen him. I went back and watched a little bit of his throws, and maybe I only watched 8 because if that's all there is, but he is prototypical. Very. That's awesome. Yes, yeah. The center Xavier. What happened to smart, tough, fast, disciplined, and with character? We're talking. So Xavier Hill is the left guard. But Zarian McGill, Zarian, I think. I think they're playing well. That center, left guard, left tackle, I think those are playing well. It's that right side that's struggling right now. And maybe that's why they're trying to figure out the right guard there with Kareem Harden and Zai. But I think they just got to make a decision and roll with it. Now we're in week 4. Right tackle, Larry Johnson. I wonder, part of me is thinking, what's his name? It's Philip Houston, I think. So when is he supposed to be healed up? I'm almost curious. And then you even have our guy from Northwestern that transferred in. Is it Lovelace, I think? I'm almost curious though, if that is that big of a struggle, right? Like, but again, I would not be flipping anything around at this point unless somebody's getting completely manhandled. But it hasn't really been the case this year. The offensive line has not looked bad. They should look better. But yeah, curious to see what that looks like, though. But that should be set at this point as well. So, and again, Kareem Harden was out last week, so maybe that's why it looked a little bit more set. But again, I think too, you start getting these big guys to that humongous offensive line to run a zone blocking scheme. That is not what you do with that massive offensive line. Anytime you want to run zone blocking scheme, they're more athletic, a little bit slimmer offensive linemen. But that's why I say they should run power. It is like man on man. Knock your guy on, knock the guy in front of you on his ass. The rest of the team, push him back. Everybody gets going, right? Like whatever it is, 34 dive, whatever it is you want to call right there. So 34 power, whatever it is, you pull your guard, whatever it is that you need to do. These offensive linemen, this offensive line is huge, and I really, really think they should run a lot more power plays. Yeah, Price and DT is a nice dude. Man, I am. It's crazy to think though. We were like, this is going to be a weak spot. Right, like when we looked at the roster overall, we knew linebacker, outside cornerback, safeties might have a struggle, and then running back is where we went to, and that has not been the case. Like, is one of the strong suits, right? I'm so happy to watch those two run. Like, I think Simeon Price needs to get a good chunk of the carries moving forward. And again, I'm a huge Michael Welch fan. I like the way he runs. I will say this though, and again, I don't know anything. Something seems off though. It looks like he's running in like mud or cement or something. I don't know what's going on with Micah. He doesn't look as fast straight line. When my friend came with us to the game, Georgia Tech, and Micah had one, and he goes, "Why is that running back so slow?" I was like, "Dude, he's fast. Like, what are we talking about?" And then as I keep watching, I'm kind of like, "What is going on?" Like, it looks like he's running in mud. I don't know if he's hurt. If anything's going on there, but he doesn't look as fast as he did last year. So again, maybe that's just me. But again, you put Simeon Price and DeKalen. DeKalen looks like that's a whole different man. He has that whole different kind of speed. And then even Simeon Price, he got in the open, ain't nobody catching him, and he runs hard too. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, the running backs, number 29, number 26 runs hard. You would think Coach Prime would build an O-line for them. I think the O-line has been playing really good, Anthony. I really do. I just think sometimes, watch them. They struggle the zone blocking sometimes. is mostly where the struggles come from when they're running. If they would just run straight power with that offense line, I really, really think we would see a different running game, a different attack. Because this is I'm curious to see what the changes are, but a power scheme would definitely benefit. Power gap scheme would definitely benefit this offensive line. Like it would be a game changer, right? And I know it is hard to have a guard at 6'7", right? And Zy Chrysler to throw over. That is tough for sure. For sure, that's tough. And it's typically your guards aren't that big because right, Caden's got to throw over that or whomever it is, Stabby, Julian. That's hard to throw over and see over, but I mean he's huge. I just really think that power run, the gap power scheme would be super beneficial. Coach Falk and Healer are true developers. Yep. Man, I'm so Marshall Falkman. That room looks fantastic. Anthony, number 8. Yeah. Amari McNeil. Yeah, I don't know what happened. He makes like one big splash play a game. He was one that I thought was going to have a humongous year this year. I don't know what's going on there, but Amari McNeil, yeah, he is. He's not having the year that I thought he would either. But there's always time to turn it around. So, and again, we'll see too. I'm curious to see what this depth chart looks like after what Prime said yesterday. I'm curious to see what it looks like. Yeah. How you feel about Pecco's D tackle coach? Man, it looks like he's bringing it every day. I mean, results though, right? Like the defensive line is they're getting knocked back a little bit, giving up a ton of run plays, not a lot of on these run plays, not a ton of penetration. I think it was Houston was like, it felt like, and again, I know that I read that stat out, but it felt like every time they ran it, it was like 6 or 7, 8 yards a pop. That's just kind of, I mean, I don't know. I'm not there. That dude brings it though. I know he's there working his ass off, but I don't know what's going on there. I don't know enough, but my initial feeling would probably be like, well, something's missing here, right? With him and Sapp, right? Like that's just like what it is. Cause this defensive line is they're getting handled a little bit. So a lot of it, I should say. So let's give it a little bit of time and see if they can get that rotation down though. So, but we could also say, right, like we do have another two bright spots is London Merritt and McPherson. Again, I'm talking about Sapp at this point, but those two dudes those two dudes are monsters out there. So, the O-line struggled because we don't run. I know Coach Gunner talked about the O-line want to run the ball. Yeah, every offensive line does. Like, and again, pass blocking sucks because you have to move backward. So those that played line know that. Like, run blocking is so much because you got to fire out of your stance and take it to them. And again, you do that again, like pass blocking, it comes to you. And it's keeping someone in front of you. Pass blocking sucks. Like it doesn't suck. It's just not as fun as run blocking. Run blocking is man, that's where it's at. So especially those guards that get a pull through the hole when you run power gap scheme, man, that is that's awesome. So check out the uniforms of Buffs wore in 2008 when they played Wyoming. They had the helmets with horns. What? This was in 08 or 09. Now let me see this card over here. Swipe. They had horns on the helmet. No way. Let me see. Oh yeah, those are hideous. I don't like those. Yeah, not a big fan of them. Huh. Yeah, I hope they never wear those again, G. I don't like those at all. It almost gives you a little bit of CSU vibes to it. Let me see if I can pull this one up real quick for you guys. Yeah, this is horrible. I wish I never would have seen these. Let me see if I can get this on there. Yeah, let's see. You guys got to see this. So it is, where are we at? There they are. Check them out. Those are hideous. Yeah, I do not like those whatsoever. They should probably not wear those ever again. I didn't even know that they did this. Yeah, not a big fan of those. Gosh, that's like that uniform combo from both teams is horrific because I know like Wyoming stuff does not look cool at all. But that, just looking at that like, yeah, that must have been a hard game to. I didn't watch this game, but that must have been a really difficult game to watch as a fan, just because it looks so ridiculous. It like almost feels like when Pittsburgh wears those weird bumblebee ones, or is it green? Yeah, it's Pittsburgh. They wear those weird ones. Yeah, the Steelers. It's not a good look. But yeah, those are hideous though. I hope they never wear those again. So just so you know, let me see recruits. Let me see. Stoutmeyer misses too many. Yep, too many tackles and takes bad angles. Yeah, there was a run against it was Connor Wigman's run. You saw it was not a pass. It wasn't even like an RPO, anything. And you see Wigman take off this way. Here comes Carter and takes this horrible, like, rounded angle. It's like, dude, no, that's not going to work. So, yeah, he did take that angle. He is missing tackles, I think, again. Tawfiq Byard and Ben Fennesith should be the starters. Oh, I didn't see that. See, recruiting 17 Colorado high school recruits. Man, I need to go check that out. That is crazy. Yeah, that seems like a lot of kids. Yeah, I'm gonna go find that, but that gets a lot of things going here. So, yep, agree blocking issues, lack of effort. Yeah, it really is. It is. And again, if you were playing against, like Indomakung Sioux in college, or one of the like Mason Graham, who dominated everybody. They're not, though. Like, you guys we're still not in the tough part. Like, next week, you guys are playing against some dudes in BYU, like, moving forward, right? Once you get into Big 12 play, like, again, I really think power blocking scheme would go a long way. We would see a ton, like, they would be able to flex their muscle. Yep, Marsh Falk, great developer. It's painful the team lost a significant. Wait, where did North? Let me see. I saw one. It's painful the team lost a significant amount of talent from last year. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Horns helmets. Yeah, I don't think a lot of teams can pull it off. Like, I mean, maybe the LA Rams to an extent, but like, there's not a lot of teams that can pull off those helmets, and especially those. Those look like they kind of really don't even look like horns. So sorry, I'm looking at it still on my second screen here. It is yeah, I don't like those. I'm just gonna go ahead and close those. It's very distracting. What are your takeaways? What are your takeaways from the Brad and Bartolone? Bartolone, right? Offense is gonna change. He seemed pissed. Like, is what I thought. It really seemed like that. It seemed like he was ready for change, ready to embrace it. That he knows things aren't working, and it's time to, right? It's time to for something different. Something different needs to happen here, and that is how I feel. So that was my big takeaway. Like, and again, all of us fans have been pounding the table for, like, dude, you guys got to adjust this offense. It's not working. So that is mine. That is my big takeaway from it. Yeah. Yeah. The horn helmets are nasty work. Yeah. Whoever designed those, I mean, that was in 08, 09, whenever. Yeah. Hopefully they're still not fired, but hopefully they moved on to something different, because we don't ever need to see those again. Those are horrific. So, yeah. I'm a Buffalo. I'm student season tickets in 08, and I do not remember those. I know, and I'm trying to think, like, if I watch that game, I really don't remember it. Like, those are horrific, though. Like, I never bring those back. Never wear those again, Colorado. Those are horrible. So, the jerseys aren't even cool. The jerseys weren't cool. The pants weren't cool. Like, yeah, I didn't like those. But for tomorrow, hopefully they wear all black. What I want to see is the black on the gold numbers on black pants with the mountains on the side, and then the black gloss helmet with the gold face mask. I think that combination looks good. So we'll see what we see. I mean, I even like the grays, but I think or even save that for next week and against BYU, because, man, they're going to need it next week against BYU. That is a good football team, physical football team. I mean, Coach Prime relying on his fame and popularity to recruit, but Coach Prime needs to go to homes I agree. I agree with that. I really do. I think we would see more 4 and 5 stars landed. Um, and part of me though too, because this is something I've been thinking about for quite some time, right? Like I know he's had some health struggles since he's been the coach at CU. Um, and again, I don't know what that looks like. Part of me is curious if he doesn't do those home goes to those schools and stuff just because of the crowd it draws, and it's just a lot of stuff, right? Like too many people, the press, everything like that. Like I can only imagine like Deion Sanders showing up to high school, how many kids are there trying to take pictures and this. So part of me wonders, but again, the other point of it, like the other part wonders is how many 4 or 5 stars would be landed because Deion Sanders showed up to my school or my home. So yeah, I get both sides. I am curious though if this is going to be the route that he takes, because again, this recruiting is just as important as the coaching, right? Like we know that, just recruit. If you can recruit well, you're going to do well. So yeah, I think I'm there with you as well. But again, Prime knows what he's doing. It is his call at the end of the day. It's his program. So whatever he thinks is working. But yeah, let's do this. This is it for today. All of you guys that were in here in the chat, thank you guys a ton. Tomorrow. So no pregame tomorrow. Those have just been hard. And then the post game tomorrow, man, I don't know what that is going to look like just because it is such a late game tomorrow. That game, again, national TV too, with all the commercials. I'm trying to think, like, we probably won't get out of the stadium 8:15, so the game will probably be wrapped up about 11:30. Back to the car about midnight. So we'll see. I might have to do one on a Sunday, but we'll see. Those late kickoffs are tough, and it's dark, and it's really difficult to do there at the stadium. So yeah, we'll see. But I mean, probably I would look forward mostly till Sunday morning. Maybe might even be better if things go poorly. If we everybody just kind of takes the night to sleep on it. Probably better if I do that as well. Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you joining, man. Like, means the world to me. Thank you. I was doubtful for tomorrow. Now with Ralphie running, I'm feeling pumped. Yeah, Sko Buffs. Yeah, Sko Buffs. Yeah, I'm there now too. I'm pumped to go see the new Ralphie. Make sure we're in our seats early tomorrow to go see Ralphie run. I don't want to miss that. So, and hopefully run. Fingers crossed. Like, we don't need a jog or whatever was happening. Walk. I don't know. Alamo Bowl was probably what did it. That was horrible run by Ralphie. But yeah, so tomorrow, go Buffs tomorrow. We'll see about a post game, but it'll probably be more than likely Sunday morning. I'll push out some times as we get there. It just depends on what time we get home. We typically get back here from Boulder about 1 to 2 in the morning, so it'll be late. But again, thank you all for being on tonight. Make sure to follow at Manny on X at Manny_303, IG at 303_Manny. Buff line, as always, is open 970-614-5771. Catch us on any single one of your favorite podcast platform. We're on all of them: Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon. So whatever one that you prefer. And again, any contributions that you can make to the show, not required, but would be appreciated. Venmo at Manny S2S. But yeah, here's to game day tomorrow. Sko Buffs, baby. I'm going to keep my 24-20 score and hope to be very surprised if we get to see a blowout. But again, I think 24-20 tomorrow. There's my prediction, all right? And as always, like Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, Sko Buffs, baby. All right, guys, have a good evening. Go Buffs tomorrow.